Jeopardy theme song that plays off recording for us?
It does. Da, 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 da. Here we are. Oh my gosh, we just went live. And we were talking about the Jeopardy theme song today. And you are with Mel and Valerie on Mindsetaholics podcast. And I'm going to let Mel introduce the topic today.
We are talking about emojis and pronouns. And while you think you may know the direction we're going to go, you're probably wrong.
Yes, because this is Mindsetaholics.
And because we always have a tendency to kind of go down our own private little rabbit hole. And it's not usually what people expect, or at least that's the kind of feedback we've been hearing so far.
It is a business podcast, right?
We claim that, but I'm not so sure we always stay businessy.
Yeah. It's true, but what truly is business the entire day?
That is being redefined by the day, and some days by the hour.
Oh my goodness. Oh, my friend Mel here. She is amazing. So I'm going to let her kind of get into what her thought process behind pronouns and emojis and where we're going to go with this today.
So this kind of started in two directions. With pronouns, it has been interesting to observe the use or the lack thereof use of pronouns over the last decade or two in relation to online. And I've been pondering this and wanting to have this conversation. And then we were talking about emojis and how AI seems to strongly favor emojis. And then you were telling me the other day how you had a recent experience where somebody called you out and was like, you used AI. And emojis prove it. And I'm like, who cares? Prior to last year, emojis were becoming acceptable in the business community. And prior to that, it was a clear generational divide of who used emojis and who didn't.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, why are we throwing temper tantrums? Why are we throwing temper tantrums about whether we use emojis or not? So these two ideas have come together, and this is what our our episode is going to be about today, is how language, and in the context of emojis, how visual language has changed and is continuing to change today on Mindsetaholics.
You know, I love that you say continually change and change. And I think you and I had this conversation about innovation, right? The buzzword innovation or disruption.
Yes.
Disruption.
That's another thing.
And I love my buddy in history. I love Aristotle. We were talking and you're like, where's she going with Aristotle? History repeats itself. You know, you go on a cave wall and there's hieroglyphics and there's all these things. And then prior to, in the 1900s, you had all of these organizations that started using dictaphones. And in the dictaphones, they had some kind of secretary that would run in, and the secretary would use what is called shorthand. And it's an old way of quickly getting notes down so that you could go back and transcribe as well. So they'd be writing in shorthand. And they would do that in legal environments. They would do that in all sorts of things, right?
Exactly.
So this name change from hieroglyphics to shorthand to emojis, I know in my historical background, I remember when text came out, and you may have not, and it was very difficult to convey any kind of real, true meaning when you got a text. It's unemotional, it's neutral, it's words. And so some would start to say capital letters, and it was like, well, I am not shouting. And it's like, but you're shouting because you use capital letters, right? And the receiver would be going, are they mad? Are they not mad? So then you had to add qualifiers to that to say, I'm not mad, I'm just lazy. I just have all caps on, right?
Or I'm not mad, I'm excited. Because that was another thing that all caps could mean.
it could mean that.
Yeah.
And so I did a test. I did a test in an organization with different team members. All I did is text them and I said, where are you?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all I said. Where are you? And one came back and answered, well, I'm just da, 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 da. Another was like, are you checking up on me? Another was, no, this is like the real test, right? Are you checking up on me? Another one was like, I'm in a meeting right now. Can you call me back, or whatever? And so there were all these variations of how they took just in a text, where are you?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, well, how through all of this can virtually you convey emotion about what you mean in a word,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think it bears a little discussion also about logos, right? The original meaning is from logos, which is, from a theological standpoint, is to convey meaning through a picture.
Yep.
Right? Or
exactly.
something.
Yeah.
And how many of us would pull up an apple and with a bite out of it and immediately say, what organization is this?
Apple.
Apple. All right. Quiz number 1. Mel, if you see 2 arches, what does that convey?
McDonald's.
Perfect.
Although if you're international, it is often called McDonald's.
McDonald's. Okay.
McDonald's.
Now, you see a little swoop, and it comes from the Greek and Roman mythology. You see a little swoop.
Nike. And random fun fact about that, an intern actually created that logo.
Yes, because it's for movement, right? And all of that kind of stuff. So that's exciting.
Well, it's supposed to symbolize the god of Nike taking off into flight.
That's why I said motion, movement.
Yep. But it's
that's why it's Greek Roman.
Off. It's the specific of jumping and taking off in that context. So it's not just movement, but it's the takeoff of the movement. It's the getting started. It's the action, the initial action.
Yes. Which makes sense for an athletic company, right? Yes. At the end of the day, we immediately know that that's what that means.
Yep.
Now, how many brands in the world are that well known?
Not as many as they would like to think.
So now all these brands, and now let's keep going down this path of, okay, we have all these brands. This is great. This is great. Now you have all these humans with different context for different meanings for what they're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you convey, again, emotional, like how people are really emotionally behaving in a virtual world that you're not actually picking up the phone or meeting with in person?
Yep.
And then why the hell does everybody get upset that Chat GPT or whatever also uses emotions to try to convey your emotions if you're brainstorming? That's how I think about, hey, it's an emoticon, right? It is, how do you feel?
Yep.
What does it mean? I feel horns on my thing and I'm angry at you, or I'm really cool, or,
Yes. So going back through the history of what you were saying, the only thing I want to add is prior to entering into texting, there was what I would consider pre-texting, where you only had...
This just paused, and you just swore instead of shift, it came across. So prior to you taking a dump,
Exactly. Prior to you taking a dump.
Oh my god! Okay, keep
Oh,
going.
there's so many things I could put in there. So in the
No!
comments below, finish the sentence. Prior to you. Okay, so
I need a little emoticon.
so what I was saying is prior to actual texting, there was what I would call pre-texting. And that's when you only had the numbers and numbers having 3 letters associated with them.
Oh yeah, the little
Yeah. And so you would have to like figure out how to spell the word and then interpret it when it came through, usually on like a pager or something like that. And sometimes you type out the word, sometimes it would be an acronym, and the person had to know what the acronym meant. And
and acronyms are never problematic at all.
oh, I know. The one that is most prevalent in my mind, I used with the guy I was dating in high school. We would use 831. 8 letters, 3 words, 1 meaning. Much shorter than figuring out the letter number combo for I love you or anything like that. So we just did 831.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we've got to, if we're talking about the evolution of, going from long elaborate words, whether it be spoken, written, to visual through text, and how the format changes, that's key.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't have elaborate conversations when you simply have a phone with 10 buttons and 26 letters with 3 or 4 letters per number. You had to get to the point fast.
Yes.
And there was typically no emotion that was then conveyed in that extreme shorthand. And then texting actually expanded that ability because now you could have full words easier. And then emoticons come along. Ooh, they're pretty. I remember giving presentations where emoticons are pretty and they're fun and they convey emotion in a media format that doesn't convey emotion well at all.
Yeah.
So emoticons allow you to convey that.
Yeah.
But early on, how emoticons displayed on Apple versus Android versus a Microsoft product versus LinkedIn versus Facebook were all different.
Yes.
And so I used to have a slide in my presentations that showed the differences.
Of course you did. Anybody that knows Mel, of course she did.
And what was funny is the audience was like, oh, I didn't mean that. And so the point was it was okay to use emoticons, but you couldn't use the extended emoticons. You had to keep it to simple ones that were clearly displayed across all platforms.
Yeah.
And that's been standardized since. But again, that's a form of evolution. That's a form of how this type of communication has changed over the years. And it has become more standard, more expressive, and more appreciated and accepted.
Yeah.
And so, why are we getting upset over AI incorporating what we do on a daily basis?
Well, I don't think we've introduced that part of it too deep yet. So let's segue into that. So, yes, you talked about that at the very, very beginning. So here I am. I'm doing a draft, and we talked about the history of technology. But so to tee this up, I'll ask the audience. But Mel, you answer the question. Do you want to
answer below?
Answer below. Do you want to dig a 10-foot wide hole that is 5 feet deep with your hands today?
Oh, hell no. Hell no. I want a big fancy tool that I can push a button and watch it like lift up trees. Chainsaws are my favorite tools, by the way.
But you decided that you want the hole.
Yes. So I
So
need
you
a tool
want
that
the
is going
hole
to
so
help
it's
me.
your IP because it's going to help you.
Yes.
But you have chose the smart way to create the hole because it's going to take you less time, less problems. It's going to be a nicer hole than if you just dug with your hands. Your fingernails are going to be preserved.
Oh, screw the fingernails. I want to play with tools and then get in the hole.
This is true. You want, and you said it, you prefer. So here is kind of what brought us to this point. There's this sort of wearing a badge of honor that somehow your IP is not your IP if you use spell check, or if you use, like you said before, Encyclopedia Britannica. I got to go get the book and read. I'm not going to do a Google search, except for everybody and their dog has done a Google search, especially everybody
Yeah.
who is doing a podcast these days, right?
Yeah.
So I would call them purists, the naked and afraid episodists, that you've got to go in and be completely naked and afraid to figure out how dumb that actually is in today's society, right?
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and be naked and afraid. You go ahead. I'm not going to shame you, but I also expect the same reciprocation, which unfortunately, AI is no different than a tool.
Yep.
And if I'm drafting 5,000 different types of thought processes, sometimes I will brainstorm with an AI that will, let's say LLM, let's say ChatGPT, let's rip the Band-Aid off. I will literally brainstorm 5 gazillion things that I'm talking about before I go and write something, right? Maybe it could be anything.
Yeah.
That is based off of 25 years of my experience. We talked about wisdom quotient, right? That's not ChatGPT coming up with an idea. That is akin to a spell checker with some emojis on it for me, instead of me going, yeah, I'm going to go in and add all these check marks so everybody thinks it looks so nice, right?
Yeah.
And why on earth do I get this stupidity of somebody going, dead giveaway that used AI? It was like, well, first of all, of course it is that I used AI. I'm not stupid. And second of all, I didn't try to hide that I had used AI to spell check, make sure my grammar, So then we went down this rabbit hole of me actually including misspellings when I wouldn't have included misspellings before LLM made its big debut, even though it's been around. Its big debut, well, yeah, don't use Grammarly then. Don't use all these other tools. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Encyclopedia Britannica and stay up on everything and dig your hole with your hands.
Okay, so we do tend to have an audience that skews younger. So I'm going to assume if you are under the age of 30, that you have no idea what Encyclopedia Britannica is. And I don't have a book that I can grab you. However, I'm going to try to describe it. And I'll see if I can find something that I can put up on the visual so you can see it. But Encyclopedia Britannica was a series of usually 20 books that were all about 2 inches wide. And it would be like AA to BA. And then the next book would be BB to BY. And so you had like 26 books, and then you had an index book. And if you wanted to know something, you had to go find the book that had the appropriate letter. look it up, and then if you were really lucky, it would say, see this word instead. So you'd put that book back and you'd have to go get another book.
It's easier to describe having a printed version of Wikipedia, but not being able to click on the hyperlinks.
What the reality is
Yeah.
pre the internet, this is how you got information.
Or you went and did the survey yourself and got
or you went to the library and you got a librarian to help you. You know, this is reality or was reality at the time. Times change, technology changes, tools change, expectations change.
Yeah.
AI can be a bad thing. It can be abused. Just because it can be doesn't mean it always is. People were incorporating emojis into their social posts, into their emails as a means of drawing attention to specific lines prior to AI. It's not that it's a bad thing. And to make the leap over to pronouns are the same thing as how they've evolved. Pre-tech, it was all about proper grammar, formal use, and using she, her, they, however it is to be incorporated. I, me, identifying, saying like Valerie and me instead of Valerie and I. And as technology changed, the less formal became acceptable. What's interesting is over the last 10 years, it shifted from use I all the time, so you become the authority, to what is your I-you ratio, where you should have more yous than I's because then it's about them. But then after that, it evolved into don't say you because it's accusatory. So now, we can't say I.
Don't say you. Don't say I.
No, wait, hold on. We can't say I because it's self-absorbed. We can't say you because it's accusatory. And then we have she, her, they, them, we, us. And now there was this weird period where people would try to use those pronouns to replace I and you. Mm-hmm. And it never made sense. So it became confusing. And now we're in this era where we don't use pronouns at all. How many times do you see a sentence that is like, looking forward to it? Who is looking forward to what?
Yeah.
So now we don't use any pronouns, and that's considered a sales best practice or a marketing best practice because you're not self-absorbed, you're not accusatory, and you're not misidentifying a situation or a person. So again, it evolves, it changes, and it's about understanding what is expected at the time to know what is best, and also remembering, hey, you have personality too. It's okay to say, I'm really excited to see you or chat with you or get caught up with you. It's okay to say that.
Yes. I think with the pronouns and everything else, it boils down to the intention. We're not going to get into PC and some of those things because PC is a moving target for the same reason.
Yeah, and I'm not meaning it from that perspective. It's honestly, the IU ratio is the perfect analogy as to how pronouns have shifted. It created awareness of the multiple times you talked about yourself versus the multiple times you talked about somebody else. And then it created awareness of, are you using the word you unintentionally as an accusatory word? Because you can be, oh my God, you're making it all about me. Or it can be, how dare you blame me? And so it created awareness of something as simple as 1, 2, and 3-letter words. We talk about 4-letter words all the time, but we just don't talk about these 1, 2, and 3-letter words.
Well, and I think with that, if we say, going back to the emojis and the intent, it is trying to convey context in the right way,
Yes.
right? I mean, honestly, it may not be that you're self-absorbed. It may be that you're actually thinking of somebody else, but it's okay to be excited, is like you said, those kinds of things. So I think that the pendulum has definitely swung, but in a business context, if you're selling or marketing, right? If you're trying to solve needs and challenges of others, it's part of the reason that we have gotten away from, wait, you don't want to talk about I in your marketing campaigns because it's all about the customer and not you. And we've had other, a lot of times when we're training anybody, like in sales, you use what and how questions versus why. Why is, and talking about the demographic, right? Why immediately when you ask somebody why, they see it as a challenge. It's very rarely that they see it as just, I'm curious. So then we had to go back and preface everything. I'm curious. Why do you like that? Because, you get into positive intelligence again, and you're talking about, stage side of the brain, or you're talking about the dysfunctional or whatever side of the brain that is telling you, did that person mean to question me? Where am I at? Why am I at this place? Or were they just actually curious or illuminating or enlightening, right? So, and I think that the pronoun issue is based on trying to give a little more or reduction of context so that people understand, which circles us back to emojis and all of that kind of stuff. And I love your analogy with the you and I, right? And sometimes, gosh dang it, you got to say you.
You do.
Or it,
Yes. And it's really how even it has been thrown into this mix too, where I'll see marketing emails go out and they eliminate the word it as well. I'm like, please understand your media platform and add the word it in.
Or I get something and I'm like, what are we even talking about at this point? I'm like, oh my gosh, are we talking about you? Are we talking about I? We're talking about.
Are we talking about a tool? Are we talking?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
I'm very.
If I don't understand what you're talking about, clearly I'm not going to say yes, which is the goal.
And the craziness of this, and it kind of goes back to mindset, is as we're dealing with some of this, you do feel like you're Alice in Wonderland in a rabbit hole because you have no idea what exactly we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to target your audience. So if you're a startup or you're any of this kind of stuff, you're supposed to target your audience, but you're supposed to do it in 3 words or less. So I'm going to give you the cat in the hat analogy. This is awesome, right? And everybody, I don't care if you're a Dr. Seuss or not a Dr. Seuss, the analogy works, right? All right, here we go. You got a cat, and he's got his hat, and he's got his tail, and he's got books on, and he's got his hand, and he's bouncing on a ball, and he's got all this mayhem happening all around him. And eventually it all has to fall into something, a thing of something, and they all have to go and clean it up, right? The challenge that you have with business today is you're going around in circles somewhat, like the cat in the hat, right? Don't add this emoticon, don't add that, don't say you, don't say why, don't say XYZ, ABC, but you have to have a tagline in 3 words or less. Why 3 words or less? Because people get bored, but I get it. You've got 3 seconds before you've lost them, because gosh, we came through the microwave technology and now we're in AI, and now we've got 1 second to capture their all that kind of stuff.
Goldfish have longer attention spans than humans at this point.
Yes, goldfish. Exactly.
That's true. They've proven it.
They've proven it. And so don't add the it, the you, or the I. So now what do you have left? An emoji
Yep.
or a logo.
Yep. I do have to pause us here for a moment because you do realize that this will get under my skin. An emoji is not a logo. You will fail the Mel test.
I did, and I'm hanging my head, but in reality,
yes, a logo is a shorthand way of communicating a message. I wholeheartedly agree to that. What I do not agree is you cannot use an emoji as a logo.
You're correct.
And if you want other validation on this, other than me going up on a soapbox, Walmart lost the lawsuit about this.
Yes, recently.
Because they tried to own the smiley face as theirs, and the courts were like, no.
It's an emotion. I get it. So at the end of the day, the fundamental basis for both the emoji and the logo is that you will understand meaning at the right way in an instant without having 3 words, without having all this stuff. I pray for you all. Good luck. Because now we're going to have a drop down in an API that says, this is what I really meant by that. And everybody's going to have to go back and start reading through the intent to understand your, I don't know, a logo or an emoji, understand what you're trying to convey.
Yes. Okay. As we are about to wrap up, I'm really excited about this, Valerie. I know you are too. So do you think we can tell them?
I'm going to introduce you to tell them about this exciting news. If you like Mindsetaholics and want to brain dump on how to set up your small business, I'm going to let Mel introduce this new product because it's fabulous.
So we have come together. We've brought our businesses together beyond just Mindsetaholics, and we are offering what we call the Revenue Runway. Your CRM that is being custom built for you. I know Valerie has been working on the features of it, so I will let her tell the specific features that are going to be included. But by the time this episode goes live, there will be a link in the description and you will be able to sign up. And I'm so excited about this. We've been working on this for a couple of months and it is finally ready to go live and we can finally talk about it. So I'm going to tell them some of the features that you've been building into this.
Oh, yes. From the growth officer side of the fence, we did a study and there's like millions of micro businesses out there and startups that the one thing that they don't really have is a way to track very easily. You can do Salesforce and HubSpot and all these great CRMs that are running out there. But they don't really have all of the actual sort of drop downs to track and that kind of brain dump of what this should be when you have a contact that comes in. How should you categorize it? How should it be in a funnel, not a funnel? And how does a one-page website already ready to go for you sound without having to pay a bunch of stuff with SEO ranking and all of that kind of stuff for the keywords that you need to have for all of that? It's kind of crazy. I didn't realize that you got to pay a lot of money to get those things programmed. And so we're just doing some real simple, out of the box, really dirt down in the basic, dirty kind of stuff to get small business up and running very fast in this big environment. And some AI mixed in.
Yes, of course we're going to have AI. We just did how many episodes on AI and incorporating it into your business? Of course we're going
to have it.
AI. So yes, we are all about, yes, you can go to any CRM site, sign up, but then you have to set it up from beginning to end. We were very intentional about making sure that this is set up for you to hit the ground running. That was our priority. So if you are in that small micro area, this will get you going. If you are in the bigger area with a larger company, this probably is not a direct fit for you. However, you're welcome to chat with us, and Valerie and I both have experience with a multitude of different CRMs, and we can make sure that your CRM is optimized for you. So we try not to do sales pitches. So let's end the sales pitch here. It is called the Revenue Runway, and you will have a link below. And shall we wrap up today? Should we use some I's and we's and you's and he's and she's and it's and then put a bunch of exploding emojis everywhere?
I think we should. No, we just appreciate the audience. We've been getting good feedback from everybody, especially on our shorts, which we technically cut this off because of the goldfish analogy. So yeah, we just honor and respect that you guys listen to us. If you have any thoughts, ideas, drop them in the comment. Mel's awesome at taking my brain dumps and bringing it digestibly to you. And we just want small business to win. So
we want to elevate businesses.
Yeah.
Whatever stage you're at, our goal is to elevate where you are to the next level. And that's where I know Valerie thrives. That's where I thrive. And this is just a means to help us do that. So drop your comments below. We would love your ideas on future topics. We have our own list, but hey, that's what you guys are for too. So help us follow, like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next time.